I will not fear. Fear is the mind killer. I will not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Ba da 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 da. Ba da 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 da. So let me just set the stage for you a little bit. It's 1984. The last Star Wars movie is finally out. And nobody in Hollywood quite understands the science of making a really good blockbuster movie. Then along comes David Lynch. For those of you who don't know, David Lynch is a nutbar. David Lynch wants to do Dune, which is already a ridiculously insane novel, but at least it's coherent. David Lynch does not make coherent movies. Other than Dune, they're usually good, but they're not coherent. Quick review of the storyline. Dune is a desert planet where they make spice that makes people crazy powerful, live long time, they can fold space and travel through it, psychic crazy people, and it makes your eyes blue. There's also giant sandworms, and it's crazy. Nutty place. So the main character, Paul, and his whole family, they get to take over the planet, but it's actually just a trap to get them all killed. So everybody except Paul and his mom die, and they go and live with the desert people, who care only about water. He becomes their messiah, and eventually becomes emperor of the universe. Sounds simple enough. Sounds close enough to Star Wars that it could be a hit. And in fact, they're remaking it, so maybe it will be yet. But the thing is, unlike Star Wars, this is a novel, and the novel is really long. Really, really long. And doesn't have the format for a good movie. So who's gonna film something unfilmable? David Lynch is. This is the man who brought us Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks, and several other cracked out things. David Lynch, I love you, but why are you insane? And he decided to cast Sting. Sting wears a thong in this movie. I'm not proud that I know that. Not proud. There's also some really cracked out stuff going on, like the bad guy not only is a pedophile, because he's a pedophile in the books, but the bad guy has everybody on his planet wear a plug in their heart so he can just pull it and they die. And he rapes a young man while he's dying in the movie. It's a pleasant movie, it's good for kids. But something that is in the book that is awesome is sandworms. And every video game or movie that it talks about a place that is a desolate desert with monsters in it has these things. They're the things that pop out of the sand and eat things, and they're pretty evil. Also, Paul Atreides' mom, crazy hot. But really the main failing of the movie is that it doesn't take into account the message of the book, which really calls into question the ideas of power, religion, and leadership. Because in the book and in the larger series, every time there's sort of a messiah figure, and there are several of them, one of which even a god emperor, it's not ever a good thing. It doesn't really seem to pan out for people to sign on to worship. But the main thing about this is not actually what happens in the movie. It's largely just a bunch of bad special effects. The main thing about it is the way everything is done is ridiculous. There's a lot of psychedelic space travel and hallucinations. And the extended cut is like 3 hours long. In fact, it's over 3 hours long. But you see, this is all okay because it was the 80s. In the 80s, that was the formula for maybe getting a blockbuster, is put a crazy director, give him a bunch of money, and see what he does. Almost every single one of your favorite childhood movies was made by someone who is batshit insane. David Lynch is the prime example of this. It's just bad. So bad. But every time there's a worm, you're gonna watch. And you know what else you're gonna do? You are gonna get the hell out of my camera. Ba da 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 da. Ba da 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 da.